What if I told you that this very moment isn't a coincidence, but the collapse of the quantum vacuum happening right before your eyes? You didn't get here by chance. The feed could have shown you any other video, but your consciousness precisely attracted this moment. The universe doesn't move by casualty, but by quantum alignment, by invisible connections that seem random but are in essence invitations. You need to understand something. When probability collapses in front of you, it doesn't come as a subtle warning, but as a deep call that pierces your mind and touches your heart. The simple act of being here reveals that your frequency has already been detected by the quantum field. It's as if your consciousness whispered to the universe that it was ready, and the universe responded. Most people abandon messages like this in the first few seconds. They get lost in distraction, in the next stimulus, in the next illusory shine that the mind projects. This happens because their unconscious is programmed to flee from depth, to resist silence, to hide from what truly transforms. But you stayed. You crossed the first barrier, the most subtle of all, that of staying present. This is the first sign that something greater has already begun to happen. While many would click somewhere else, you remained. And this permanence is not neutral. It is already a choice. Every instant of conscious attention you offer is like an invisible thread connecting to the fabric of the universe, redesigning the field of probabilities around you. Small, seemingly invisible signs were already moving before you got here. Maybe a feeling in your chest, a recurring thought, or even a dream, or a seemingly trivial coincidence. These are all folds of reality, ripples that brought you to this exact point. Notice, you are not just consuming information. You are crossing a portal. The words that are reaching you now are not just sounds or phrases. They are frequencies. They carry the vibration of a collapse happening in real time. As you listen, the quantum field responds, because it doesn't distinguish what you imagine from what you experience. It merely mirrors the vibration you hold. Maybe a part of you still thinks you are just watching a video, but the truth is, this encounter is an inflection point. What you decide to do now, in this instant, can determine which line of destiny will open before you. The future is not fixed. It is malleable, alive, pulsating, waiting for the impulse of your consciousness to take form. The quantum vacuum is not distant. It breathes in every atom, every thought, every beat of your heart. It is waiting for you, like an infinite mirror that reflects not what you superficially desire, but what you truly vibrate. This is the moment you can align that vibration with your awakening, or you can allow everything to stay the same. And I tell you, nothing will be the same after this instant. Because the simple fact that you are here already means the field has recognized your readiness. This video is more than content, it's a summons. A portal has been opened and the quantum window is before you. You are not just listening. You are participating in a real-time quantum adjustment. Your presence is proof that the universe has decided to respond. And now the next move belongs only to you. You got here, and that already means something. Maybe you don't realize it, but only 1% of people stay in the face of a message like this. It's not a common statistic. It's a quantum reflection. The simple fact that you are here proves that your consciousness has crossed the first invisible barrier, the first test, to remain. The quantum vacuum doesn't respond to passivity. It bows before conscious attention. The act of staying focused, of not diverting to the next stimulus, is already an act of collapse. Every second you choose to continue is as if invisible threads begin to intertwine around you, drawing a new architecture of possibilities. Imagine an infinite ocean of invisible waves, vibrating in all directions, waiting for a single glance to transform into reality. This ocean is the quantum field, and you are the observer. When you decide to stay here, you are casting a stone into that ocean, creating waves that expand beyond your imagination. Your attention is not neutral. It alters the field, and here is the mystery revealed by science. The human brain makes decisions even before the conscious mind perceives them. This means the choice to be here was not rational. It was quantum. Your field, your vibration, your energy had already decided before you understood. You were brought to this point not by chance, but because something within you had already aligned with the call. Grasp the greatness of this. While millions wander on autopilot, trapped in repetitive cycles, you are before a living mirror that shows you that your attention is power. The unconscious of most people makes them seek escape, distraction, noise. But you, by staying, are already standing out from that flow. You are already taking the first step towards awakening. This is the first test, the simplest in appearance, but the most decisive in essence, because consciousness is measured not by how much one knows, but by the willingness to stay present. Most seek instant answers, shortcuts, quick formulas, but awakened consciousness knows that there is no revelation without permanence, without attention, without surrender. Now look around your life. How many times have you given up before the fruit was born? How many times have you quit in the first few minutes when it still seemed difficult? The quantum field presents you with the same test again here. To remain. He who cannot bear to cross the surface will never reach the core of transformation. Look closely. This isn't about beautiful words, but vibrational codes. The simple fact that you are here is already altering your field. Permanence is not passive, it is active. It is an act of resistance against distraction, against the programmed mind, against the escape from the essential. You were summoned to remain because something is being collapsed at this very instant. This moment is not just information, it's frequency. Every second that passes, every conscious breath before these words, is an invisible brick being laid in the construction of your next future. The first test of consciousness is not about understanding, it's about enduring. It's about resisting the temptation to give up, to look for something faster, easier, more superficial. You passed that test just now, and because of that, the field already responds. You have been selected to continue the journey. Science has revealed what the ancients already intuited in silence. You are not just a spectator of reality, but an active participant in the collapse of the universe. Every thought, every emotion, every choice, however small it may seem, is not just a reflection of something external. It is the origin of a wave that propagates in the invisible field. The human heart, for example, emits an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain. This means your emotion is not a fragile shadow, but a quantum engine that molds the space around you. It is the heart, more than isolated thoughts, that acts as the true collapser of reality. When you feel deeply, the universe responds. Imagine an infinite ocean, vibrating with waves of probability. Every emotion you hold is like casting a stone into that ocean. The surface stirs, creating circles that expand and reach unimaginable distances. What you think may have power, but what you feel generates tides. And these tides reach layers of your life that reason could never touch. Quantum physics shows us that reality is not solid, but probabilistic. Until something is observed, it exists only as a wave. But the instant consciousness places itself before that wave, it collapses into a particle, into matter, into experience. What was once only possibility becomes a path. And here is the key. You are not just the one who looks, you are the one whose very attention alters what is looked at. At this moment, as you listen, something is happening on levels your eyes cannot see. Your simple act of attention creates micro-alterations of consciousness. These micro-alterations behave as invisible triggers that, in a domino effect, can transform relationships, opportunities, destinies. The invisible begins to align with the visible, because the field always responds to the dominant frequency of your presence. It is no coincidence that you sometimes feel that a coincidence is repeating, that a door opens at the right moment, that a word arrives when you need it most. None of this is mere chance. These are quantum effects manifested on the stage of your life, responses from the field to what you silently vibrated. Neuroscience confirms your brain, even before you become conscious, has already decided paths. The rational mind only justifies afterward. This means there is something greater, an invisible instance, guiding your attention to where it needs to be. And at this moment, that force brought you here, because your field responded before your reason. Now realize, you are not facing a theory. You are facing a mirror. What you feel now is already shaping the field around you. Every conscious breath, every cultivated emotion, every intention not expressed in words but held in vibration, is already a command that the universe hears. And that's why I tell you, if you choose to sustain the frequency of fear, of delay, of doubt, the field will reflect exactly that. But if you choose, even imperfectly, to sustain courage, faith, presence, the field will reorganize itself around you. Before we continue, if this video is being helpful to you, take this moment to subscribe, leave your like and your comment. This strengthens our message and ensures that you continue to receive content like this. Your participation is part of this quantum collapse happening now. You are at an invisible crossroads. Maybe you don't see it with your physical eyes, but your heart already feels its pressure. It's as if the quantum field is holding two lines of reality before you and waiting for your decision. On one side, path A, stagnation, the known ground, the repetitive cycle, the comfortable prison that keeps everything the same. Here nothing changes, but nothing blooms either. It's the space where the mind finds security, but where the soul sickens. On the other side, path B, expansion, the quantum leap, the courage to cross the unknown, the manifestation of the highest version of who you can be. This path demands more, but also delivers infinitely more. The quantum vacuum does not wait. It doesn't pause its dance of probabilities until you are ready. It responds now, the instant your vibration is emitted. And if your vibration at this moment is hesitation, it creates more barriers. If it is faith, it opens passages. The field doesn't judge, doesn't choose for you. It just reflects. Think about it. Every micro decision you make is an invisible brick in the construction of your destiny line. There is no neutrality. Even silence is a choice. Even waiting is a command. Time doesn't stop for you to organize your excuses. It moves on. And as it moves on, it architects for you exactly what you sustained with your vibration. It's as if at this instant you hold a quantum key in your hand. It can open the door to awakening, leading you to a new, vibrant reality, aligned with your essence. Or it can keep you trapped behind the invisible bars of procrastination, of repetitions, of what seems safe but is not full life. This key is not symbolic. It is real, because every thought, every emotion, and every act in this instant are commands that the field obeys. You may think you are still choosing, but the field is already responding. If you vibrate with confidence, it has already moved to align the unlikely in your favor. If you vibrate with fear, it is already raising walls to keep everything as it is. Perhaps, within you, there is a conflict. One part wants to move forward, the other resists. And this resistance is natural. The mind is programmed to seek comfort, even if that means stagnation. But awakened consciousness knows that life begins where the comfort zone ends. The leap doesn't happen in theory, but in the act. Realize that the crossroads are not external. It's not about a job, a city, or circumstances. The true crossroads are within you, in the vibration you choose to sustain. If you decide to move forward inside, the universe reorganizes outside. But if you decide to hide inside, the universe creates scenarios to justify your escape. The quantum field is already bending probabilities around the decision that vibrates in your heart. That's why this moment is so important. It's not a simple video, not just any instant. It is a summons. The line that opens before you depends on what you choose to vibrate now. So, at the crossroads, you must ask, will you continue repeating what you have always done? Or will you cross the portal of the unknown? Will you hold the key without using it? Or will you unlock the door that leads you to the highest version of yourself? The answer is no longer in words. It's in the field that vibrates silently within you. And the field never lies. Fear doesn't scream. It doesn't arrive as an obvious enemy, nor as an immediately frightening monster. Fear is subtle, silent, almost seductive. It disguises itself as logic, as prudence, as apparent rationality. It whispers, wait a little longer. It's not the right time. You are not ready yet. And so, day after day, it paralyzes. This voice you hear inside you many times is not your essence. It's an old software installed in your mind to ensure survival. It doesn't want you to wake up. It doesn't want you to advance, because it knows that the comfort zone is the territory where you remain controllable. This voice is the echo of the programming that has been passed down for generations. Don't risk, don't expose, don't dare. But understand, this voice is not the truth. It is just a layer, a mask that covers your real potential. It's like background noise, trying to drown out the grandiose symphony your soul wants to play. Neuroscience reveals something powerful. There is a so-called 5-second rule. Whenever you feel a deep impulse to act, to change, to decide, to move, your brain gives you a tiny window, a fraction of a second. If you don't move within that window, the self-protection mechanism is activated and fear takes control. This is why so many opportunities are lost. Not because you couldn't, but because you hesitated. In the quantum field, every impulse is a microscopic window for the collapse of a new reality. If you act, that wave collapses into experience. If you hesitate, the window closes and the wave returns to the sea of probabilities. And then, what could have been simply dissolves. Think about how many times this has already happened in your life. How many invitations have you rejected? How many ideas sparkle in your mind at night, but disappear in the morning because you judge them impossible? How many encounters? How many connections? How many dreams died in the cradle because of a whisper of fear? The voice of fear will always seem convincing because it wears the mask of logic. But behind that logic is only a prison. Fear is not interested in your greatness. It just wants you to survive. But you didn't come into the world just to survive. You came to expand, to transform, to vibrate in your fullness. Imagine for a moment, within every impulse that is born in you, there is a spark. This spark is the frequency of your quantum self calling you to the future. It is the spark of a reality that does not yet exist, but can exist if you dare to cross the door. When you hesitate, that spark goes out. When you act, it turns into a flame. And that flame illuminates the path that once seemed invisible. This is the programming that needs to be broken. No longer obeying the whisper of fear, but listening to the call of expansion. Because in the end, it's not fear that decides, it's you. The internal voice can try to paralyze, but awakened consciousness knows every second of hesitation is a lost opportunity, and every act of courage is a line of destiny created. Fear is insistent, but it is not sovereign. It only reigns when you feed it. The moment you decide to act despite it, it dissolves like a shadow before the light. Now, the quantum field presents you with the same choice again. Will you bow to the whisper of doubt, or will you collapse a new reality with your action? There is a golden prison where millions remain, without even realizing they are imprisoned. This prison is called eternal preparation. It is the space where the mind creates infinite justifications. When I am ready, when I have more resources, when the conditions are perfect. And so, the years pass, and life remains just potential, never realization. But the quantum field does not respond to waiting. It does not bow to those who calculate every detail, but to those who dare to collapse the wave in the present. The universe does not reward hesitation, but the act. It is not perfection that opens doors. It is the courage to move, even without being ready. Think of the great names in history. Edison, who failed thousands of times before lighting a lamp. The Wright brothers, who had no technology, but had the courage to defy gravity. Jobs, who was rejected and even fired from his own creation, but returned because he dared to act when it seemed impossible. None of them waited for the ideal preparation. They launched themselves into the now, and it was precisely that imperfect act that opened the way. The quantum field works like this. The first step does not reveal the entire road, but summons the road to form. Every step you take illuminates only the next section, but if you don't move, nothing is revealed. It's like walking in darkness lit by torches. You only see a few meters, but it's enough to follow. If you wait to see the entire journey, you will never take the first step. Imperfect action is in fact the only way to create perfection, because perfection is not a starting point, but the accumulated result of thousands of small, seemingly imperfect acts. It is the mosaic built by attempts, errors, adjustments, falls, and rebirths. He who waits for the perfect moment never finds it. He who acts discovers that the perfect moment is created by the action itself. Metaphorically, it's as if you are in front of a locked door. The key doesn't exist yet, but the instant you decide to turn the doorknob, the key is created in the quantum field. The action creates the resource. The decision creates the strength. The audacity creates confidence. And here is a deep truth. Confidence does not precede action. Confidence is born from action. You don't act because you trust because you acted. It is the movement that generates faith, not the other way around. Every time you launch yourself, even without guarantees, you build a quantum record that strengthens your identity, proving to yourself that you are capable. Observe your own life. How many times have you regretted trying? Now, how many times have you regretted not trying? The regret of omission weighs infinitely more than that of a try, because trying generates learning, expansion, evolution. Omission generates only emptiness, silence, and repetition. The quantum field, at this very instant, is only waiting for one sign: your movement. It does not ask for perfection, it asks for vibration. It doesn't ask for security, it asks for surrender. With every act, however small it may seem, you summon invisible forces to align in your favor. So, don't wait to be ready. Don't wait for the scenario to be perfect. Act. The secret is to do it now, even if it's imperfect, because now is the only space in which the field responds. Tomorrow is an illusion, and waiting is the language of stagnation. He who acts imperfectly today opens doors that perfectionists will never touch. Among billions of human beings, no frequency is equal to yours. No consciousness has vibrated, vibrates, or will vibrate exactly what you vibrate. You are unrepeatable. This singularity is not a detail, it is a purpose. In the vast ocean of the quantum field, your vibration is a unique code, and without this code, the universal mosaic would remain incomplete. Often, you were led to believe that you are just one more, a generic piece on an infinite board. This is a lie that was told to you so that your light would not shine. But the truth is another. The field needs your presence. It would not be full without you. Every experience you have lived, every pain you have endured, every victory you have achieved, all of this has generated a frequency impossible to copy. You are a necessary fragment of the totality. Think of the universe as a gigantic stained glass window. Every soul is a piece of colored glass. Some are intense like rubies, others soft like aquamarines. If a single piece is missing, the stained glass loses its completeness. You are one of those pieces. The quantum field cannot express its totality without your color, without your vibration. Your identity is more than a name, more than a story, more than social labels. It is a singular vibrational field. This field carries memories, choices, pains, and cures that no one else has. Awakening consists of recognizing this value, of realizing that you didn't come to repeat, but to add. Many times you compared yourself, belittled yourself, wondered if you really matter, but realize there is no comparison in the field. The frequency of a violin does not compete with that of a drum. Both are necessary for the symphony to exist. In the same way, your vibration does not compete with anyone else's. It is indispensable for the universal harmony to be complete. However, social programming tries to erase this singularity. From an early age, you were molded to fit into patterns, to imitate pre-drawn routes. But the quantum field does not respond to copies. It only moves in the face of authenticity. When you try to be someone else, the field remains inert. When you assume your unique identity, the field opens up and responds. This is why you have so often felt that when you tried to follow the paths of others, nothing flowed. But when you dared to follow your own intuition, even if everything seemed uncertain, doors opened. The field knows how to recognize your vibrational signature. It only activates what is truly yours. To reconnect with this identity is to awaken. It is to allow the sleeping version within you to finally rise. This version does not accept mediocrity, does not conform to the shallow, does not negotiate its greatness. This version demands that you be whole. And here is the revelation. While you try to be someone else, the field remains incomplete. But when you are you, whole, true, singular, the universe breathes a sigh of relief, because a lost piece has returned to its place. Your quantum identity is a summons. You are not here by chance. You are here because your vibration is needed at this time. The universe waited for exactly you, exactly now. So, don't hide anymore. Don't dilute your light to fit into other people's molds. The field doesn't need copies. It needs the original that you are. Everything you have heard so far was not theory. It was preparation. Every word opened a space in your consciousness. Every metaphor triggered hidden frequencies. Every symbolic image aligned you with the moment you are in now. This moment is the portal, and this portal has a name. Now. The quantum vacuum does not respond to the past or the future. The past is memory, a record already collapsed. The future is just a wave, a probability that does not yet exist. The field only recognizes the present. It is in the now that everything is decided. It is in the now that the collapse happens. It is in the now that transformation manifests. You can spend your whole life saying, "One day I will change. One day I will decide. One day I will live my essence." But one day is the biggest of illusions. One day does not exist. There is only the present instant vibrating before you. And it is in this instant that the universe awaits your choice. Realize, the portal is not external. It is not physical. It is not in a city, on a date, or in an event. The portal is internal. It is opened when your consciousness decides to cross it. And this crossing is not an idea, it is an action. It is when you say, I'm not waiting anymore. I collapse my new future now. Do this symbolically. Declare out loud, or write in the comments, a phrase of commitment, something that translates your decision, your surrender, your vibration. Words like, my consciousness collapses a new future now. This simple act is not just psychological, it is quantum. By declaring, you give form to the invisible, you imprint a signature of decision on the field. Don't let tomorrow steal what can only be born today. Awakening does not happen in theory, but in practice. The quantum field doesn't wait. It responds to the command you send in this instant. The future you so desire is not distant. It already exists in potential. What's missing is for you to cross the door. And I tell you, that door is open. You have already reached it. Now everything depends on your decision to cross. It's not about understanding every detail, but about acting. The portal of the now is narrow. Only those who abandon excuses, hesitations, and fears can pass through. But by crossing it, you access the highest version of who you are. Feel this. This video was not just information. It was a summons. It was a real-time quantum adjustment. You didn't just listen. You participated in a resonance. You collapsed together. You touched the edges of the invisible. And now, the next step belongs to you. Don't procrastinate anymore. Don't wait for perfect conditions. The moment is this. The field responds to the vibration you hold now. This is the portal. This is the time. If this message resonated with you, publicly take your commitment to the now. Write your declaration of decision in the comments. Share this portal with those who need to awaken, and continue following the channel's content. Every act of presence strengthens the field. Your transformation begins here, and together we expand collective consciousness. The universe has already responded. Now everything depends on what you choose to vibrate.